Houston, we have a problem.
Give me all you got!
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Give me back my gun! I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
I'm going to hit record. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Stand and Watch, the best and only dad movie podcast you're listening to, because we killed all the other ones.
We fucking murdered them and stuffed them in a shark, so then when you see them, all you see is their legs.
I am your host, Matt.
I'm your other host, Nick, and I've got another steamy pedophile story for you right off the cusp of the cusp of the start of the episode.
This podcast isn't just about dad movies; it's also about pedophiles. Because why not?
I've crossed paths with. I don't even want to finish that sentence with some oddballs in my life. No, so before recording, we were talking about Beetlejuice, and how they handled the dad character, who the actor, I forget his name,
Jeffrey Jones.
Pedophile. They So in the movie they kill him with a shark. You don't even see him. You see his legs.
Not just a shark. Not just a shark. I think I've explained this on podcast. I'm gonna do it again because it's a fun bit. In the movie, they explain how he died, and when Catherine Harry is explaining how he died, they cut to a claymation animated sequence. And in this claymation animated sequence, they show that he was on a plane to go on a bird watching expedition. The plane crashed in the ocean. He survived. Everybody survived. But everybody was taking refuge floating on the plane, but he was a little bit further away, and as he was swimming to the plane, a shark fucking ate him. And he
fucking ate him whole.
Ate him in half, bit his top half clean off. So then, because in the Beetlejuice, people are in the afterlife, he's a character in the movie, in the afterlife, like in the waiting room. He's there as a person, but it's just his bottom half. And every time he's got a big shark bite taken out of him, and every time he tries to talk, it just gurgles and blood spurts out of his like spine hole. It's incredible.
Oh, that's rough.
It's incredible.
So we got on the subject of this pedophile, and it reminded me of another story. And I don't believe I've told this on the pod. If I have, yell at me anywhere where I am on the internet. But so I had a seventh grade. I moved from the inner city down to the suburbs. I was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, basically. And I had a seventh grade English teacher. We were reading, what is that, A Wrinkle in Time? One of the worst books to read as a young kid, because you don't give a shit. And I remember parent-teacher conference. I come in to see this guy's name is Mr. McCann. I don't give a shit. He's a pedophile. I'm not protecting pedophiles on this show. And he's this bigger man, very, very high-pitched voice. And he's like, he used to wear bells on his fucking shoes. And it wasn't the fucking holidays. He wore bells on his shoes at all times, so you could hear him coming. So
like holiday bells or like cowboy bells?
Holiday bells.
Oh, fuck.
So that was the one good thing about him, is you could always hear when his annoying ass was coming down the hall. But at the parent-teacher conference, and I hated English, it was my least favorite, he tells my mom, well, me and Nick haven't really connected. I hope we have more opportunities to connect. Like, I just like to connect with my students. He said connect way too many times. And I was a young man, and I was like, he's saying connect a lot. Like, this is problematic. And me and my mom don't see eye to eye on a lot. And we're walking out, and my mom turns around to me as soon as the door closes, and she's like, if you ever connect with that man, let me know, because there is something wrong. And I was like, okay, yeah, I won't connect with that man. Like, she's like, yeah, you better not. Like, and that we had a good chummy laugh. Like, me and my mom, that's a core memory of my mom. Let that say what it will about our relationship. 5 years later, I think I'm in high school or I'm in college, so it's pretty close to me being out of that town. That same teacher, Mr. McCann, let me say his name again for you, just in case he's in your area. Mr. McCann.
You got a first name?
I don't remember his first name.
Oh,
I think that's a repressed memory, maybe. Busted for having CP on his work computer.
Oh, completion points in Yakuza?
Completion points in Yakuza, yep. I think that was probably a translation thing. I hope in newer Yakuza games they changed it. I'm now starting to realize why you made that Yakuza pitch, because I thought you like predicted I was playing Yakuza, but I told you I was playing Yakuza. I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I've also tried to play Yakuza, and you playing Yakuza reminded me of when I tried to play Yakuza and I couldn't get into it because I don't remember which Yakuza it was, but I started it, and like the very beginning, it starts in like a cemetery, and then like you walk like 10 steps to a grave and you interact with it, and then there was like fucking 2 hours of cutscenes, and I was like,
Yes.
I'm out.
The one I'm playing is kind of like that. It opened with like a flashback to like these three, like this love triangle. It's almost like Challengers. And I went and got this girl a ring, but then it got stolen, so I had to like run around town to try and find it. And there are all these cutscenes in between, and I'm waiting for the game. I'm really waiting for the game to start, because I'm like, oh, there's like 20 of these Yakuza games. I want to play them all, but it's gonna take me like 10 years if these cutscenes keep being the way that they're being. It's a bit much, but I mean, I love it. I don't have. I'm a sub, not dub guy. I'm doing the subs.
Oh well. So you don't remember his first name? It's a repressed memory. Because
Maybe
I think we could do a public service here if you got his whole name.
I don't remember. I'd have to like find a yearbook, and I don't have a yearbook from that year. My wife might have it because we met in middle school. But no, I don't remember his first name.
Oh, well.
I want to say Doug, but if I say Doug and then like someone's like, I know a Doug McCann, and then they murder him, and that's not the right McCann,
okay.
then we've done a disservice.
Well, what if now people just go around murdering people named Mr. McCann?
I mean, a broken clock is right twice a day, right?
All right. If all Mr. McCanns are murdered, then one of them's a pedophile. So
Look,
it makes the whole thing okay.
Well, and you know what? I was driving the other day, and I saw the most aggressive bumper sticker I've ever fucking seen. And this is on a Honda Odyssey, which is a minivan. And the bumper sticker, it reads, "Dead pedophiles can't reoffend." And I was like,
oh my
fuck,
God.
that's fucking metal as fuck. But yeah, they can't.
You know where there aren't any pedophiles?
Don't say Iowa.
I'm going to say Iowa, because Iowa is heaven, and there's no pedophiles in heaven. Because we're talking about Field of Dreams.
There's no pedophiles in heaven. Oh man, don't let the Catholic Church know about that. They're going to be really upset.
And then they should know not to be pedophiles. Hey, Catholic Church, if you want to go to heaven, don't be a pedophile.
Do you think if God could do it again, God would be like, all right, we need an 11th commandment. The pedophile thing's getting kind of out of hand.
I sure hope so.
Or commandment. I think I called it. I guess it would be. If he was adding a commandment after the fact, it would be an amendment. God's like, yeah, we're adding. Adding don't diddle.
Where are the 10 commandments now? They're in a museum, sir. All right, let's just add it and pretend that everybody missed it for 1,000 years.
God told me I needed to etch this in. He showed up to me as a burning bush.
Fuck. Did you hear they added an 11th commandment? Shit. Charlton Heston's dead. We can't remake that movie.
I'm adding that. Adding that as a sketch for the sketch album. God adds new commandment.
Thou shalt not diddle children.
Look, I'm really concerned. I thought I wasn't going to have to say it. I thought it was very implied.
Oh.
Thou shalt not diddle.
Field of Dreams.
But yeah, Iowa, Field of Dreams.
Yeah. Do I have this movie up? I don't have this movie up. Do you have this movie up?
I have the wiki up.
Okay,
I'm on Amy Madigan, but let me go back one and I'll be on. Field of Dreams is a 1989 American sport fantasy drama film written and directed by Phil Alden Robinson, based on Canadian novelist W.P. Kinsella's 1982 novel Shoeless Joe. It stars pre-Yellowstone Kevin Costner, Amy Madigan, James Earl Jones, Ray Liotta, R.I.P. R.I.P. to James Earl Jones while I'm at it, and Burt Lancaster.
No R.I.P. to Burt Lancaster?
Is he dead?
If he's not dead, he's like 1,000 years old.
He died in 94, so yeah, R.I.P. to him. Hey, this cast, it's gone. So the movie follows Ray Kinsella, who is a crop farmer in Iowa, lives with his wife Annie and daughter. One day he's in the cornfield, he's probably dehydrated, and he hears a voice tell him, if you build it, he will come. And he makes the assumption that he's talking about a baseball field for Shoeless Joe Jackson, who was banned from baseball and the Black Sox after betting on some baseball games, which is, guys, it's illegal, so don't do it. This episode brought to you by FanDuel and every other sports betting site out there right now.
Isn't there one that's just called Sports Bet?
Probably. It's getting out of hand.
Come on, guys. Come up with a better fucking name.
Now that it's starting to pass everywhere, it's legal. You can't watch like a pregame thing without fucking Terry Bradshaw trying to give you away some of his money. It's so gross.
I wouldn't know. I don't watch sports. I'm sophisticated.
Good for you.
Look at you. That's not true. I watch pro wrestling.
Yeah, Field of Dreams. Do you want to do the letterbox?
Of course, we have to.
We have to. We have to.
Or do you mean do I want to? Do you mean do I want to begin the letterboxed?
I'll go first.
All right.
I'll get mine out of the way. I have a review, a dad-approved Letterboxd review from Patrick Williams, who is a patron on Letterboxd. He gave the movie 4 stars. Said this movie is mostly about baseball, but also it has Amy Madigan halting the spread of neo-fascism in America.
Yes, it's a true review. It is one of my notes that I wrote about it.
It's a good review.
Yes.
What you
got? Okay, my review comes to us from Ben David Grabinski, who is a patron on Letterboxd. Good for you, Ben. We got big money Ben over here. He gave Field of Dreams 5 stars and wrote, "Whenever I'm watching this movie, it feels like the best movie ever made. Crying my ass off watching it on AMC in a hotel room."
It's a tearjerker. I'm not gonna dance around the fact that it is a tearjerker, no matter the age of the viewer. I'd say no matter the gender either. It gets you. It hits you hard. Do you just want to get right into the sandwich and start talking the positives?
Yes, we should. Oh,
Amy Madigan.
Yeah,
Amy Madigan. Well, honestly, the whole cast is really good here.
Yeah. I just put in my notes James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. I for sure thought he was going to beat the life out of Kevin Costner. He broke into his apartment.
That was a good scene. I enjoyed that scene.
He's got like does he have a billy club? What's he have? What's he threatening to hit him with?
I think it's a crowbar.
Oh, he's like, what is that? It's a crowbar.
Because Costner is like trying to get him to go with him, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of my house!" And he comes back in and he pretends he's got a gun in his pocket. And he's like, "What is that?" It's like, "What are you talking about? Come with. It's a gun." So James Earl Jones just picks up a crowbar to beat him to death. It's like, "What are you doing? I got a gun."
And you know what? I kind of wish he would have beat him to death. Because if he had beaten him to death, he would have still gotten to play ball with his dad.
I like that scene. That's a fun scene. It's just like,
I also think Ray Liotta is really well cast here as well as Shoeless Joe.
Yeah, I like Ray Liotta. I think Kevin Costner is good in this movie.
He is. He really is. He's very believable as like a down on his luck farmer who's like also just kind of like having a midlife crisis, hearing voices on the farm.
Yeah, I want to say, I'm trying to think of I don't think I've ever seen a Kevin Costner movie.
I think of what else he's in. I do love that, like, the voice, like if Field of Dreams was made today, and it almost was. I have a friend who wrote on the TV show that got canceled right after they had written all the episodes. I do feel like if it was made today, like an hour would be set up to like explain the voice. Like, well, we have to explain the voice.
I feel like if this was
Kevin,
I feel like if this was made today, every time, like, if this was made today, every scene would include at least one character making some quip about the voice. Right?
What can the voice give you today's lottery numbers?
Yeah, like just something like, so you got a baseball field of ghosts, huh? That just happened, like that. Like that would happen today, right? You could never
Mr.
make a movie.
Brooks.
You could never make a movie this sincere today.
Right. It has to, like, some exec could be like, hey, you know what? The voice is really cool. Could we add Kevin Hart in there to, kind of just like make fun of Kevin Costner for hearing voices? Like Kevin Hart volunteers to drive Kevin Costner to the insane asylum or something.
Yeah, like it's a very I don't even it's very committed to its premise. Like this is just this world, and I don't know, like it's just nice to see a movie like that. When
It's a tight script. It's a really tight script.
and I'm sure there was other movies like this, back because they used to make movies all the time without people making snarky remarks, taking the piss out of but it's just nice to, after watching so many modern movies that feel like they have to take the piss out of their own premise, because it's like, well, audience aren't going to get on board with it, so we better make fun of ourselves. Like, no, just do it.
It's just back when movies trusted their audience, like, hey, we know like a good chunk of you are stupid, but we're gonna trust the smart half of you to grab the premise and go with it.
This is a movie. In this movie, he hears voices and has a baseball field of ghosts, and most of the characters are just kind of on board with it. And I really appreciate that.
Now every other movie's like, we make fun of what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad, but every movie has to have like that throwaway line. Like, what is this? Some kind of 3 billboards in Missouri?
Every movie has to have like fucking like, oh, what's your name? Doc Ock. That's a stupid name. Like, no, fuck you.
Like, that's his name. It's Dr. Octavius. Fuck you.
His name is Doc Ock. This is a fucking movie. Like, just move on. Like, what are you doing?
Look at us. We're pointing out the absurdity of all this. Like, we know it's a fucking movie. We came from the absurdity. It's what we're here for.
Like, this is an absurd movie, but it's like they play it so straight, and there's just something nice about that. Like, it's just, this is how it is. Great.
And not to keep harping on movies now, but movies are like now, like when you were in high school, like, and you were a junior and you had a friend dating a freshman and they're like trying to explain it away. It's like, no, we get it. You're a creep. We know you don't have to explain it.
Yeah.
What else? On the positive side, the baseball. I mean, how can you not be romantic about baseball? I know I'm saying that to a Canadian, but I mean, the baseball stuff is good. I don't give 2 shits about the Black Sox, but
I don't give 2 shits. I think the strength of this movie is I don't care about sports at all, and I was on board for this. It got me.
Gotcha. How many times did you cry?
I don't know if I I don't know if I cried. I teared up a few times.
So I cried when Doc crossed over and helped the daughter.
I teared up. No, I didn't tear up when he helped the daughter. I teared up when he was like leaving, and they were.
Oh yeah, and he went into the field.
And Ray Liotta's like, "You were good."
Yeah,
I teared up.
That was that was beautiful. I teared up when Ray, the character, confusing that we have a character named Ray, and then we also have Ray Liotta.
Yeah,
but Ray, Kevin Costner's character, realizes that his dad is there. And he throughout the movie he's talking about how like his dad was a broken man by the time he was old enough to like be around, and working, like not chasing his dreams, and like working in the factory really broke his body down. And then at the end, it turns out his dad's been the catcher playing the game the whole time, and him and his dad have a game of catch.
Yeah, I teared up when he said, "Hey, Dad, want to have a catch?" It got me.
And you said something off. And I don't want to steal your thunder, because I thought this was great. You had mentioned that the movie's more about regret, and the whole Doc thing is like, they go back in time. Like Kevin Costner mysteriously goes back in time, and you know what? Again, that doesn't explain it. They're just like, hey, we're gonna go back in time right now.
Yeah,
fucking stay with us. And I love that, but. Doc had 1 at bat, maybe, I think, or no at bats. But he played in 1 game.
I think he had 1 at bat, but he didn't get to hit.
Yes, and it kind of feels like he regrets it, but not really, because he was this good doctor, and people loved him in his town, and people loved him in his neighborhood, and loved him as the doctor that he was. And as a former college athlete, I remember, always striving to be the best, always working to be better. And I always go back to I wasn't the best player, but I practiced my ass off. And there was one practice we took a Sunday, and we didn't practice, but we got together for like a stretch session where like our strength coach led us in a stretch. And the head coach at the time, Tony Samuels, is walking around, and I'm stretching. I'm like bending down so I can hear him, but I can't see him. I can see his legs. And he's like, "Hey, you're not going to get much playing time, but you're going to be great at whatever you do next." And it was like at the time it was like the most backhanded thing, because I'm like, well, fuck you, man. I'm here working on this. But like, I think about that moment all the time, because like he sees that I'm working my ass off. He sees that I'm trying my best, and he's like, well, football maybe not, but like you're putting in the work, so you're gonna be awesome in whatever you decide to do when you get out of here. And so yeah, when Doc is going into the corn and Ray Liotta's like, you were good, like that made me tear up, because it made me think of that moment on the football field stretching. And it being a backhanded comment at the time, but now it's like, no, that was like something really nice. That was a really nice moment that we had.
I think this is a weird movie for me, because after I watched it, and because most of the movies we watch for this podcast, I'm like, okay, like, I don't really struggle with coming up with notes. But then I watched this movie, and I'm like, I know I liked this movie. Like this movie ended, I was like, I liked that, but I need like, for the podcast, I need my notes. What did I like? And I'm like, I don't know what I liked, but I know I liked it. And I think it really just comes down to, because like, it's not like, there's nothing flashy in like the direction. There's no like sweet cinematography or anything like that. Like the acting is good, but like, I think what it comes down to, I just thought it was really nice. I felt nice watching it. And it's nice to watch a movie that makes you feel nice without laughing at you for it. Just like,
it's a movie. It feels like a movie.
It to quote the great film theorist Harry Styles, it really feels like it's a movie that feels like a movie. Like you get, there's nothing magnificent about it. Maybe there's nothing, it's not like, oh, incredible light, incredible technical aspects and visual storytelling and auteur directing and really deep thematic writing. It's just like, it's a really nice movie that sweeps you up in its niceness. And I think it's like 2 hours or something. It's
not a very long movie. No, it breezes by even at 2 hours.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours
108.
max. 108. So it's so it's like an hour. Yeah, it's like an hour 50, and it breezes. Before you know it, it's over, and you're just like, that was nice. I feel nice now.
I did like how once all the ball players start appearing, like these are like, and I know we're coming off the men episode, these are men. They're shit talking, they're disgusting, they just want to play ball, and they're probably all gambling in the cornfields anyway. And I'm like, yep. Like even though like this movie's about regrets and like playing, like these are still flawed men. So I love that they were still these shitty 1920s characters. I thought that was a fun little detail. I also liked that the movie's not afraid to like change its setting. Like at the snap of a finger, we go from Amy Madigan defending books and stomping out fascism in her little neighborhood, and then the next minute we're at fucking Fenway Park.
Yep, I like it becomes like a mini road trip movie in the middle, and it doesn't like it's not long. It's an hour 50, and you think, well, how are you gonna just throw in a mini road trip movie? But it works. It's tight. It's a tight movie.
And then it becomes Back to the Future for like 20 minutes.
But it all works.
I like it. Do you have anything else on the like side you want to share? You want to jump into some negatives real quick?
We can go into some negatives real quick.
I think by the end of the movie. So like there's all this nice stuff about regret, all this, baseball stuff. They monetize the shit out of that. Yeah. Just as a kid, I remember watching, I'm like, oh cool, people are going to come watch The Ghost. But now as a grown ass man in his 30s, I'm like, this is fucking disgusting. You should have kept this to yourself.
Now here's the thing. This movie came out in the 80s.
Oh no, don't tell me.
That's right. Reaganism.
No. God damn it, he did it again. Were we ever like as a
Ronnie Reagan ruins everything.
As a generation, are we ever just gonna like let go? Are we gonna like? Do we have the inclination to blame Reagan? We're like, no, you know what? I'm not gonna blame RR for this one. I'm not blaming RR for it.
If there were, listen, the man did a lot of things that he needs to be blamed for.
Did a lot of stuff. Didn't make any good movies, right? I don't think we don't talk about his movies.
No, we don't. Yeah, Reaganism, just monetizing the ghosts
Of your father.
Yeah, and I get.
Dad, I had a good catch. I have to monetize now.
I get that. Like, it's supposed to be like a hope. Oh, people are gonna come and they'll pay to come, and their power of belief won, and they'll be able to keep the farm. And it's like, and I hate to be one of the pedantic goofs that we make fun of so often. And I think someone actually did put this as a goof, but like, there's no way they couldn't have made their money back after they sold their crops.
Right.
Like, yeah, he plowed some of it for a field, but did you see how big that field was? Like,
it's a huge field.
First of all, I know the plot of the movie, like, oh, you're losing money on your farm because you plowed all your crops for this field, but like, your field just doesn't make money just by being there. Like, you sell the crops to make money. There's still plenty of crops to make a profit. So do you really have to monetize the baseball field to pay your mortgage? No.
Well, if it's anything like Illinois, like you have these multiple plots. So like in 1 year you plant in this plot, and then next year you can't plant in that plot because you planted it last year. So you have to go to another plot. So from that standpoint, like you weren't going to plant anything there this coming year anyway. So like you're good for now. You're going to hurt like the next year, but you're fine. Again, not to be that goofy, not to be the assholes writing goofs, but also I never felt like they were really going to lose the farm. Sure, his shitty brother-in-law was there, like, you're going to lose the farm. They're going to take it back.
Yeah.
But also, like, I just, no.
It really felt like they just like, well, we need something that they could have just had this be a movie where he builds the baseball field. The voice keeps telling him to do things. He goes to get James Earl Jones. Everything happens you can have this movie happen the exact same. Completely remove that they're losing money and have to sell the farm, and the movie doesn't change.
Right.
Like, it's just kind of in there because it's like, well, we got to have, I don't know, some sort of antagonist, but I don't think you do for this. It's like, we need it's like, well, we need a Mr. Potter, but no, you don't. You don't need a Mr.
Really
Potter.
And yeah, just the worst brother-in-law I've ever seen in a movie. Like telling his niece to shut up, threatening, like, you're gonna lose it all. Like, dude, you're a farmer in Iowa. Like, it's not that high stakes, you guys. The bank's gonna take it all.
I wasn't a huge fan of just this movie opening with a big exposition dump.
Oh yeah, my father did this and this and this and this, and then they gave birth to body ba.
Like, you could have had all of that conveyed just naturally in dialogue. Like, so much of his relationship with his dad is just like told throughout the movie anyway. Like, I don't need a big expedition dump about his life. Like, and
yeah, it kind of felt like the flashbacks in Men. Like, we can assume a lot of this. We don't need to actually see everything. Like, you just built a baseball field in the middle of your baseball pilled. We know you're baseball pilled. Yeah, and we know that you hate cities, and the closest city is Chicago.
and like, we know your dad loved baseball, and he pushed it on you as a kid. Like, that all of that is said in the movie. You don't have to give me an exposition dump.
Just like have like, Ray has like a room with like all of his baseball paraphernalia, and then maybe you have your voice, like a little bit of voiceover there, and then that's when you skip to Ray in the field. But no, like I don't need the PowerPoint presentation that I was given.
And just to tie into that too, like, because it, like, they could have just had like him sitting in his room and maybe a little bit of voiceover, just like, maybe he's in a room with like his, I don't know, like baseball paraphernalia, or like he's looking through a scrapbook, or there's pictures of something, just like anything else. because like you give us this exposition dump and then it jumps right into him in the field and the voice saying, if you build it, he will come. So like you go from this big exposition dump essentially to the inciting incident. And so I'm like, well, hang on, where's the first act? Right? Like, wait, like, because I don't need an exposition dump if I have a first act that sets up who this man is. But you just kind of give me an exposition dump and then he's in the field hearing voices and we're off to the races.
And, you know, props to Amy Madigan for supporting her husband hearing sounds. But if I'm married to a man who's hearing sounds, I am like kind of packing a bug out bag because like, you know, we're like 2 days away from him chopping us into pieces.
Yeah, she let him build that field. Good for, like, that's like the most supportive wife I've ever seen.
That is the most stand by your man ass thing I've ever seen anybody do in cinema.
I'm hearing voices and they're telling me to build a baseball field. Go
Baby,
right
you gotta
ahead.
build that field.
Go right ahead, sweetie.
You know, I think we ate a little bit of the money on the field, but I think we're gonna turn out even, sweetie. she was a down ass motherfucker.
Just no pushback at all, even before she started seeing the ghosts. She was all in.
To be fair, she was busy fighting her own fight against fascism, which just disappears.
That's true.
We also didn't really need it, but it was only there for him to be like, oh, the author. I need to go see him. Just a lot of like connecting the dots right away. Like, hey, this guy you just brought up, I think I need to go see him. Yes,
but I did enjoy her halting the spread of neo-fascism in America.
Now she's not here. Where is she now? She probably flipped.
She's gone, and the effects of her disappearance are being felt. She's gone like Luke Skywalker, and the effects of her disappearance are being felt.
It's awful. When we needed her most, where was she? Not here.
Oh, things could all be different if she was still doing her thing.
The movie abruptly ends too. They're out watching the game. Doc does his thing.
Yeah.
The brother-in-law can finally see it, and then the cars start coming in. I was like, wow, like, oh, he plays catch with his dad. But I was like, wow, this is like really moving fast. It feels like they needed to like wrap it up when they were running out of time.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind that as much because I feel like, well, he got closure as a character, so the movie's over. Like, it made sense to me. It did happen pretty quickly, and it feels fast because like they build up this subplot of like the people will come to the baseball field, and then it's just like, oh, and now you can see the cars driving up over the credits.
How did they find out so quick? Who was fucking?
I don't know. It's like James Earl Jones said, people will come, Ray. They
loose lips. Loose lips. There's a bunch of fucking gossipers in that fucking small little Iowa town, and I know it because there's the scene where he's building the field, and they have the ADR voiced in people like he's gonna lose his farm. The whole time I was like, these loudmouths need to shut the fuck up.
Do you have any more dislikes?
No, I do have like a few more likes. I like that Ray essentially guesses what he needs to do like right away about it. He's like, well, what about my dad? He did this, and this. And then like that kind of takes a sidestep for everything else because Ray Liotta shows up and everything. But essentially the first thing that he guesses is what he was supposed to be doing it for. Oh,
yeah. He guesses it right and then he misunderstands. So he's like, oh, it wasn't my dad. It was these guys.
And then it's like, and then the end of the movie, it's like, no, you dumbass. It was your fucking dad.
I think this movie,
you dense fuck.
I think, and this is part of the nice feeling. I think it feels very, it's got a very like cheery, good things happen, like 1949 Jimmy Stewart movie vibe.
You want me to get you the moon?
Like I could picture this happening to Jimmy Stewart.
The voice that's saying if I build it, it will come.
Well now, who are you? Well now, honey, it's Shoeless Joe.
Look,
honey,
they're on the field.
Shoeless Joe, he's on the field.
They're at the mound.
Don't you see? Well, what's the brother-in-law's name? Mark. Well, now, Mark, we're watching the game now. Don't you see? He's right there. You don't see that?
Somebody get Topher Grace on editing in. making these edits.
edit Jimmy Stewart into Field of Dreams. But yeah, it feels very just like, and I know you can call it cheesy and you can call it corny and sentimental and schmaltzy, but I think it works. I think we need a little schmaltz in our diets.
Well, and I think the fact that it ends up being his dad, it ends up being the first thing he thought of. I think it kind of thematically plays into the don't overcomplicate things. You were right. You got it.
Yeah.
No, you needed more time, but you needed the time with your dad. You can, like, things are complicated, but they can be simple too. And I think that's what it's getting down to. I mean, it's doing it with the most complicated sport ever. But yeah, things can be simple.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it's just you just wanted to play catch. You were right, Ray.
Now I want to play catch. Goddamn. Did you talk to your dad about the movie? I know your dad was excited about you seeing this.
I have not talked to him about this yet.
Okay. All right. Have you had a catch with your dad?
Not in years.
You should go have a catch with your dad.
Should I?
You should go have a catch with your dad. Do baseball gloves look the same in Canada?
We do. They do. I had a baseball glove when I was a kid. When me and my dad would play catch. One time he nailed me right in the throat, and it's why my voice is not low and masculine like James Earl Jones.
I was wondering what happened there.
Yeah, I was making fun. I tell him, remember when I was a kid and we were playing baseball? He socked me right in the throat with a softball, and I always tell him that's why I don't have a visible Adam's apple, and that's why I got a high pitched, whiny voice.
Thanks, Daddy.
Thanks, Dad. And I'll always blame him for that. And one day he'll be dead, and I'll just want to have a catch.
So go play catch. I feel like we didn't talk about James Earl Jones enough in this.
He's really good.
I love his character's arc that he just stopped writing. He stopped caring because he felt like nobody cared what he was writing about. And I fucking felt that. I fucking felt that. I was like, yes.
I think anybody who's ever created anything feels that.
And if the character were, if he were alive, we just lost James Earl Jones, R.I.P. But fuck, if he were still, like, this character would still be feeling the same way today, except he'd be chasing SEO and he'd be getting fired from different publications every other year. He'd be
writing articles about how to watch the Harry Potter movies in order.
The proper Harry Potter reading order. God, SEO is a bane on this fucking world.
Oh God! You know what? I think this movie. I was not expecting this movie. It's pretty funny.
It is.
I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like pure, and we talked about earlier how it completely buys into its ridiculous premise and sentimentality without like snarky quips, but like it's funny. Like there's jokes. Like there's
James Earl Jones. There's a throwaway moment where James Earl Jones' dad like reports him missing. He's like, oh shit, I should probably call him.
Yeah, like there's jokes in this. Jokes. There's this when young Doc Graham is like practicing with the team. He winks at the pitcher, and so the pitcher starts like throwing haymakers at him. It's like, what are you doing? Well, he winked at me.
Don't wink.
There's a little mini montage of Kevin Costner practicing how he's going to introduce himself to James Earl Jones. Like he practices maybe like pretending to have a gun, and all the ways he can like, hi Terrence Mann, I'm Ray, and like he's practicing, and it just ends on him going hi, and he like nods like, yeah, that's it.
What is that fucking door? What is that mechanism? Like he pulls a chain and it like rings a doorbell or something?
I don't know, but I want one.
I was like, what the fuck is this door?
I don't know. How old is that building?
What is that building? It's Boston, so probably older than both of us combined.
Yeah, but yeah, the whole first interaction with Kevin Costner and James Earl Jones, it's funny. He's like, I just want you to come with me. So you're kidnapping me. Yeah, kind of.
Even the Ray and Ray when they meet, and he's like, is this heaven? He's like, no, it's Iowa. Like that, it's as cheesy as it is. It's like, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Like it's a funny movie. I really wasn't expecting it.
You know, you're selling me on the movie. I think it's the capitalistic undertones where I'm like,
Yeah, no,
But I do think I come away from this. I know I was very down on getting this movie on the wheel. I know I was very down watching it, but it's not a bad movie.
No, it's not. It's pretty good. I don't know if it's great. Like a lot of people say, oh, incredible movie, Field of Dreams, amazing. I know my dad said that. I don't know if I'd go that far, but like it's a good movie. I would watch it again. I felt nice.
Yeah, it's a good corny time.
It is.
We don't get that often. I think the movie most like this movie that has come out recently would probably be Twisters.
Yeah. It's just a nice movie. It's nice to have movies that make you feel nice.
It's a movie-ass movie.
Yeah.
Feels like a movie.
It really feels like a movie. Like a real movie.
If I were rating this movie, I'd give it 4 stars.
Give it 4? I'm leaning more towards 3.5, but I don't know. Talking about it, I kind of want to bump it to a 4. So
it was the talking about it that brought me around. I was ready to come into this podcast and give it like a 2.5, and just be the bad guy of the podcast. But the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah. Why am I being such a cynic? Yeah, this. You know what? This was nice.
Yeah, I think on Letterboxd I gave it a 3 because I was like, I liked it, but I don't know what I liked about it, but it wasn't bad. Then I thought about it more and I was like, nah, it's more like a 3.5 because it's good and it made me feel nice, but you know, it wasn't great. But talking about it here, I'm like, no, but it's really good to feel nice.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going 4.
Hey, 4s across the board.
All right. Okay, this is easy though. It's 100% dad movie, right?
This is 100% a dad movie. There's not a dad that sees this movie and goes, no, not watching it.
Every dad likes this movie, I think. I think if you don't like this movie and become a dad, you end up liking this movie.
Yeah. I was never going to try to argue that this was not a dad movie 100%. It is a 100% dad classic.
Sports, playing catch with your kid, family relationships. It's a farm. Kevin Costner, midlife crisis. Ray Liotta.
Oh, he looks great in this movie, by the way.
He does.
This is right before Goodfellas, I think.
Oh yeah, this is like when you think of dad movie, you think of something like Field of Dreams. Mm-hmm. Like when you're measuring like how much of a dad movie a movie is, you're thinking, well, what does it have that Field of Dreams has? It
was essentially, I mean, I think it was the first movie I put on the wheel for some reason.
Did you put it on the wheel or did I put it on the wheel?
I don't know. I know one of us was like, we need a dad-ass movie that we know is going to be a dad-ass movie. So it was either you or me, but I think it was the sentiment was this is a dad-ass movie when we put it on there.
Yeah, 100%. Everybody knew going into this 100% dad movie. And every listener, including you, Steve Buscemi, hi.
Hi, Steve.
Even he knew. He saw, they're doing Field of Dreams. That's going to be a 100% dad movie, regardless of what their personal ratings are. And Steve Buscemi, you were correct. As always.
Correct, Steve Buscemi. I'm surprised you weren't in this. I don't know what you're doing at the time. But you're lost, man.
All right. Well, it is time to move on from the movie. Well, we're not moving on from the movie, but we're moving on from talking about the movie to instead make fun of people who watch movies incorrectly. That's right. It's time for the Negative Nancy of the week. Negative Nancy's of the week, I should say, because there's always more than one. I got one. So
this is where we pull the goofs from IMDb. These are people that watch a movie and then nitpick something from the movie and decide to write it down on the internet for the rest of us to read. So I have a miscellaneous goof here. When Ray and Terrence are at the hot dog stand, there are 3 servers, arms folded and doing nothing, and no other fans. Any beer or food stand at Fenway Park would be swarming with fans before and during a game. But I'm on a down season. The stands are not going to be full. I get it. It's Fenway. I've never been to Fenway, but motherfucker, like this is like one of those fools that has never worked retail that probably tries to tell you how retail goes. Like, there's always someone there to help you.
I want to know what this person thinks when he watches any movie set in New York City.
Yeah. He's like, the Big Apple.
There'd be so much more traffic. How do they always find parking? They'd never be able to do that in Times Square. That's how I imagine he sounds.
The people are walking shoulder to shoulder. You can't. There's no walking room.
Okay.
That's why they always say I'm walking here.
All right. My goof for this week was written by a real huge fucking nerd. The game at Fenway Park between the Red Sox and the Athletics takes place on May 16th because it was the only Red Sox Athletics game at Fenway in 1988 in which Jody Reed hit first, as indicated by Ray's lineup card. The scoreboard clock says 10:32, but the actual game concluded at approximately 9:50 that night. Now, a couple things wrong with this. Number one, if you are such a huge fucking nerd that you know the exact time that certain baseball games happened, you're a fucking nerd. Second thing, if you can tell which game and which day the game was based on the starting lineup, you're a huge fucking nerd. Like if you know, May 16th, the starting lineup is Jody Reed. That must be May 16th because it's the only game between these two teams where he hit first. Okay, get a life, buddy. Third of all, have you considered that this movie in which ghosts come to Earth to play baseball in Iowa doesn't take place in our world, you fucking idiot?
To be fair, I will say baseball fans are the nerdiest of the sports fans.
They are, but keep that shit to the field, man. Don't bring that to the movie watching experience.
You do it again, we're gonna stuff you in a fucking locker.
This one made me physically angry to read. Like, this is a movie about ghosts. This game must have taken place. It doesn't take place in the real world, you idiot.
Is James Earl Jones' character based on a real person?
I don't know. I know in the John Mulaney bit, he says he thought that his book was real deep into his 20s.
Yeah, that's the one thing where I was like, wait a minute, is this guy real? Is he not? I don't know.
Terrence Mann. There is someone named Terrence Mann who plays for the Clippers currently.
But this was an author, right?
Terrence Mann, author. No, Terrence Mann is fictional.
Okay. Because I was curious because I was like, oh, I do want to see his works. I wonder if like they found a way to work these real life things from multiple fronts. But okay, he's fictionalized. Okay, I'm glad I didn't see any goofs there because I always imagine like people getting on and being like, actually, he wouldn't have looked anything like this. Bloody blah whatever. Dad joke time.
It is dad joke time.
I've got a quick one.
Hey.
And I'm going to do it in the voice, which, by the way, I don't know whose voice that was. Really good voice, by the way.
I feel like it was Kevin Costner's voice, right? It had to have been.
Was it Costner?
I want to say it was Costner. I should Google that.
Was this a man who just never heard his like inner monologue and finally heard his inner monologue one day?
Hang on. Field of Dreams, who is the voice?
Could it be Ray? Ray Liotta? I was thinking Ray Liotta.
Okay, no one is credited as the voice.
Really? Is this a mystery?
Some people think it's Ed Harris, but the director disputes that. Says it's completely wrong. Some think it's Kevin Costner, and some think it's Ray Liotta, but it's never been confirmed apparently.
We should solve this.
We should solve this. We should make a whole separate podcast that's like an investigation into who the voice is in Field of Dreams. We'll go for 10 seasons. We would need a really good. We'll go for 10 seasons. We'll get Joe Rogan money.
Is the podcast is called "Is This Heaven?" No, it's a Field of Dreams mystery.
Is this heaven? A Field of Dreams mystery.
I love it. We'll call the serial people.
Oh, let's do it.
But no, my dad joke is if you build it, you can monetize it.
All right, here's my joke. I was prepared to be underwhelmed by this movie. But in the end, I thought it was pretty amazing.
I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you so much.
Hey, man, I used to work in a corn maze at a Halloween theme park for kids. And when people walked by, I said, this is my corn. Isn't it amazing? And it killed like 70% of the time.
Those kids just have bad taste.
No, from the parents.
Even worse.
Killed.
Terrible.
Every time. Killed.
Terrible.
Almost always. Almost always.
Terrible. I had another baseball joke, but I lost it. I wanted to do a who's on first, but I couldn't work it out. So I'm not going to do it.
Who is on first, Nick?
Who?
That's what I'm asking.
Who?
That's what I want to know. Who's on first?
Who? It turns out I'm a fucking owl. You're just a crazy guy who hears voices and was talking to an owl the whole time.
Who? What are you, a fucking owl? What's that from?
That sounds like
I want to say that's from Heat.
Sounds like a Buscemi line.
Does it? Hang on, I'm googling it. I'm almost positive it's from Heat. Who? What are you, an owl?
Who? What are you, an owl? Rob Cobb.
Oh, the same line, what are you, a fucking owl, has appeared in 3 movies. Heat, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Nocturnal Animals.
Weird that it happened more than once.
Well, I'm sure nobody said it better than Al Pacino.
That owl had a great ass. I believe that was what he was referring to. Oh boy, you want to spin the wheel and get out of here?
Yes, I do.
Spin that wheel.
This was an efficient podcast episode.
What is left on the wheel for those at home?
Aliens, Crimson Tide, Hitman, and It Follows.
I've seen half of those.
Same. Which half?
All right. I've seen Aliens and It Follows.
I have seen Aliens and Hitman.
Oh boy. So no matter what, we're getting a movie someone hasn't seen.
Yeah.
So, unless it's Aliens.
Have you seen Aliens? I thought you didn't see Aliens.
I've seen Aliens.
Didn't you tell me when we first made the list, you wrote in brackets next to Aliens that you hadn't seen it?
Yeah, but I've watched it since then.
Oh.
They added all of them to Hulu, and I was going to see Romulus, so I was like, I should probably watch Aliens before I go see Romulus.
All right. Okay. Oh, it is Crimson Tide.
This is the one.
Neither of
I'm
us have
excited
seen
for
this.
it, but this is like the one I wasn't like the most excited for.
Why? Because it's
Crimson
a
Tide.
submarine movie?
Yeah.
What's the other
I've moved past my Tom Clancy phase. This is on the Roku channel for free.
Is it?
What
This
else
isn't
have we
the
got
Tom.
it on?
This isn't the Tom Clancy submarine movie, though.
Right.
This is a different submarine
Roku.
movie.
Denzel, Gene Hackman. Oh, the lovely Gene Hackman, who I thought retired way too early. James Gandolfino, George Dzunda.
Ooh, this is on Disney Plus in Canada.
Fucking Canada, man.
Yeah.
You guys. All right, Crimson Tide it is.
Ooh,
I'm
Viggo
excited.
Mortensen. A young Viggo Mortensen. Interesting.
Look at him, very young. Now he's old.
Ooh, Steve Zahn.
Wait, was he the guy in Green Book?
Viggo Mortensen?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was the driver in Green Book.
he was.
Really? Oh, you know what? I still need to see A History of Violence. That might need to go on. Might need to go on the wheel.
Maybe.
Wait a
Okay.
minute. He was the dad in The Road also.
Yeah,
This guy's got a very storied career.
he does.
And I didn't even realize it was him half
And
the time.
That's before you take into account Lord of the Rings.
That's right. Fuck, Lord of the Rings.
Oh, this good cast. Tony
He's
Scott. I'm excited for this.
This is gonna be a good one. I'm excited. It's an action movie. We haven't had an action movie since Con Air. We need something to bring
Yeah.
our spirits back up.
It's a submarine action thriller directed by Tony Scott, starring Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman. If this is bad, I'm going to shoot myself.
We need more thrillers. There haven't been enough action thrillers these days.
No, there haven't.
Scores on this look promising.
89
So-
Rotten Tomatoes.
Fingers crossed.
Right, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Denzel
Fuck.
Washington.
I almost watched
King
this.
Kong ain't got shit on me.
I almost watched this today because I was like, I was looking for something to watch. I was like, maybe I'll watch Crimson Tide and just
Get ahead of the tide.
Yeah, get ahead of it, and then maybe like hope that it gets picked on the wheel.
I had the same thought. I
I
was
should-
like, I have 2 I need to watch. I have time.
Yeah. All right.
All right. I don't have a proper end. It's late at night, so my brain is
Yeah.
fried.
I don't know.
I just want to wish Steve.
Follow me on. Oh yeah, Steve Buscemi.
Hi.
Hi,
Steve.
Steve. Follow me on Twitch, Mr. Buscemi, at Real and Fresh.
He plays some fun games.
I do.
Follow me on Twitter at that Kaufman. If you want to watch my Twitch, Nick Fat Night, whenever I do stream. I did a game commentary, a game review for Matt's YouTube that
Yes, he did.
that didn't get as much hate as I thought it was gonna get.
Honestly, between the Mario Party review I did and your Dragon Age review, I think we finally got the smart gamers in on the joke to show up, right? Because I've been doing like satire video game reviews, and a lot of people for the first few videos like didn't know it was a joke, even though like it was very obvious, like I wasn't subtle. But they would come in and there'd be angry commenters like, "Oh, fuck you! What is this?" But the last couple videos, it seems people have finally understood it's a joke. Or the smart gamers have found my channel.
The algorithm is finally feeding your channel to the smart gamers. Hey, there's a new comment. I have no idea what I just watched, but I couldn't stop laughing.
Excellent.
Oh, that guy gets a thumbs up.
I'm excited to record my Mario and Luigi review, which should be up by the.
Is that your next one?
That's my next one. That should be up. Yeah, that'll be up by the time this episode is out. Because that game comes out That game comes out on Thursday.
I've got more time for my flight simulator one, so that might be out before this comes out. Who knows? We'll see.
When does Flight Sim come out?
That was fun though. November 19th.
19th. This episode's probably coming out, I think, the 29th November.
Wow, I didn't realize we had a whole month already recorded.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you thought we recorded these every week, you're fucking insane.
You're nuts. You're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
You have no idea what goes into podcast production.
Yeah.
Read a fucking book.
Anyway, yeah, follow us. Follow me on Twitch. Follow the YouTube channel at Rongo Pro.
I've been telling people Ringo, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Just look up Ringo on YouTube.
Yeah, it's at Rongo Pro.
RONGO.
Yeah. I don't know. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm not using Twitter as much these days. Follow the show on Twitter though. At Stan.
The bots love it. The bots love us.
Yeah, I would like some real people to follow us though. So follow the show on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter, I guess, at Real and Fresh. But I'm on Blue Sky now, where the sky is blue and people aren't Nazis.
You know where I'm hanging? I'm hanging out at my local library. That's where the people are now. That's my new social media.
Good for you. Anyway, have a good night, Mr. Buscemi, or a good morning, good day. I don't know what time you're listening to this. And just because we are recording this weeks in advance, just to get both bases covered, congratulations, President Trump. Congratulations, President Harris.
We did it, Joe.
Yeah. Whichever one wins, I'm not going to edit this, so I'm just keeping both of those in.
Bye, everybody.